Mics are hot.
Hello. Welcome to Dicing with Death.
Yes, welcome to Dicing with Death, where we don't play Dota. We just look at artwork and discuss its value to society.
Is there cool artwork?
There's a giant
always,
octopus fighting a different octopus. It's the same artwork from last time. I've been lazy and I haven't updated it.
What giant octopus? What are you talking about?
There's like
on the screen or something?
Yeah, there's a big octopus fighting.
I've just got chat open. Do I need to pull up a full-on Twitch window?
It's some cool Matthew Berger art of giant octopuses fighting. I mean, it's legit. No. Speaking of Matthew Berger, he is trapped in New Zealand. He was on vacation down there.
What's he doing in New Zealand?
He's on vacation with his family. And now they're there. I guess now they just live there.
And this is where they live now. Honestly, a lot of people have been buying property in New Zealand over the last decade for an apocalypse scenario. Mm-hmm. So it's probably a desirable place to get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron's sister is in New Zealand. Oh yeah, I've seen that artwork before. The stream finally loaded.
But
I think that's like
really
a deep spawn or something, right?
No, it was there are these two octopus of Dyson men. One of them was like a player druid who transformed into one. The other was a menacing monster. At least that's what I thought this was supposed to be of. I think it might be another person. Yeah, because there's a person being grabbed by one octopus while another octopus is attacking him.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick.
How's it going? Is it just us?
For now.
The three of us right now.
Oh, is there a Zoom
We'll see.
Oh my god.
There is a Zoom call if you want to see our faces. If you want to see my Squishmallow collection.
I do.
Oh my god, it's growing! Holy shit, there's so many of them!
They're multiplying. I don't think it's grown. I think Aaron's just assembled the whole collection. There's actually more of them.
Oh my god! 1, 2, 3.
Neal's in awe
There's
at your
5
addiction.
big ones and 8 little ones?
Yeah, you're a good counter.
13?
Yeah, 13.
Great.
We got an 8-pack to start with, to be fair.
Oh my god.
These have been stress mellows. The middle 3.
Oh my god.
What's up?
What is up?
Hey, Aaron.
Hello.
What do you think? I've been growing a beard since we've been in quarantine. What
Nick
do you
says, hey, I was about to comment on it, but you brought it up first.
think? Yeah, I'm proud of myself.
Looks pretty. Are you trimming it, or is that just how it grows in?
No, I have to trim it because I get a goatee because I think I'm meant to be an evil genius.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. Does it grow in naturally as a goatee, or did you trim it that way?
Yeah, no, it grew as a goatee. I've had to shave this down a few times to try and get the rest to fill in.
But are you not shaving your cheeks, or is that just how it grows?
That's just how it grows, yeah.
So you've got no sides, you just have the front.
Born to be an evil wizard.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, not anymore. Neal killed him.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Except I'm not actually dead.
Yeah, you're still alive.
Just stoned.
Could be worse. So, what are we going to talk about? We'll let Greg to tell us what to talk about.
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's stay away from the really shitty conversation topics that we normally end up on, like, eugenics and genocide. Let's try.
Yeah, that's usually my fault. I'll stay away.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the plague descending upon humanity, and whether or not we deserve this.
Yeah, we probably do. It's like a counter to overpopulation and destruction of the environment, maybe.
Yeah. I
So
mean, if
how
Mother
long is it
Nature
until...
could be personified as a person, this would be her revenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. The breaking of the world, if you will.
If you could personify the Earth as like Mother Nature as a person, this would be her like murder rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just extended Seattle's stay-at-home thing for another month, so...
Yeah. I think it's going to go on for a while, because, I had my driving test booked, 3 weeks ago, and they cancelled it, and they rebooked it for the end of June, and they cancelled it again, so... I feel like it's going to at least go on until the end of June.
Damn.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, to be honest.
What is it like in the UK? Because I've been talking to a couple of northern UK folks about it. But I haven't heard your perspective on life under.
Are you not in the northern UK, or are you?
Yeah.
You're thinking like.
I was
Newcastle.
thinking Newcastle.
The Celts and the barbarians.
Yeah.
This still counts as Northern England at least. Maybe not Northern UK. Northern UK, I guess, would be Scotland. But it's all right. Like everyone has to work from home. So a lot of people can't work, and the government's paying 80% of their salary. So like Fran can't work, but she's still getting her salary. So that's all right. I'm still working. They say we can go out once a day for exercise, but they're sort of talking about maybe rolling that back, so that you can only go out for like food and stuff, medicine. So right now, I mean, I've been going for like a walk for like an hour and a half a day, which is honestly more.
You're really milking that
than I usually do. Yeah,
milking that once a day thing. Like, all right, I'll go out once today, but it's gonna be for 90 minutes.
Yeah, but it's all right. Like people like move away from each other on the street. You know, stay 2 meters apart.
Yeah, that's been super funny. Walking down the sidewalk and having people cross the street to get away from you.
Yeah, but it's not been so bad so far. If they say that you can't go out for like walking and stuff anymore, then that'll be quite bad.
Yeah.
But no one I know is. Well, my boss has got it, and he's been pretty sick. But he's young enough. Like he's not an 18.
Did he catch it after you last saw him, or are you like quarantining yourself? Fear of exposure?
No, after I last saw him. But I'm a little bit worried because I went to France right after I got back from the US. In the place we were is right by the border of Switzerland, so it's near Italy. Yeah. And there was like 8 cases there at the time in the hospital, and then by the time we left 3 days later, there was like 40.
Yeah,
and then Fran got a little bit sick afterwards, like just a cough and stuff. It wasn't that bad, and then I got the same thing, and I just felt like it was a cold. But looking back, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
right. Like, a lot of people are asymptomatic. So like every cold, it's like, is this it? Or even without
Lauren
a
and I
cold,
were
it's just like, am I an unknowing carrier, or like an asymptomatic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Lauren and I got sick after your wedding, Ryan, and we were like, "Uh-oh, is this it? Did they bring it from Seattle?"
But you don't know, dear. Like I went back into the office one day after I was sick, so potentially I could have, if I did have it, maybe I could have passed it on to someone. But that was before they'd instituted any real measures over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Sean, Discord audio.
But we. Aha face. So I read someone did a study using GPS data to track people's movements, and apparently the average commute in Seattle has gone from about 3.5 miles as of like 2-3 weeks ago to 61 feet as of last week. And that's the average, right? So there's probably 90% of the people are not leaving their house, and then definitely. 10% of the people are essential and doing their usual commute, bringing the average up to that 60 feet.
Yeah,
I don't even leave my bed. Like I just plug my laptop in my bed and just work from there until like 11 o'clock.
Aaron is essential, so, and I'm a degenerate introvert anyways, so our lives haven't really changed all that much.
Yeah.
Luckily, Neal can work from home.
Yep. Lauren's essential, but she works from home now, so...
Keeps all entertained, Neal. You're an essential worker in these times.
Yeah, right. I've never been essential in my life.
Our governor did actually call that out. I don't know why. Like, obviously, these people are working from home anyways, but on the list of essential workers, it was like artists who stream their services on the internet.
Oh, really?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
There you go, Neal. Maybe you should move to Seattle. You'd be an essential worker.
I think
I'll be
it's
appreciated.
I think it's because everyone has all the spare time now, right? Like,
yeah.
Because there's always like a big streaming boom, sort of. Like, there's definitely a big boom in like viewership. Although not necessarily in money, because everybody starts unsubscribing because nobody has any money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's coronavirus, right? It's a bit of a thing.
Our governor has instituted an order that everyone needs to wear face masks if you go outside now.
Oh, really?
We had that happen. Although it's a little weird because I don't think like you can't really buy like N95s or that now, right? They're basically sold out.
Even like a scarf over your mouth is better than nothing.
But
there's a lot of
too
weird
much to protect,
misinformation
right?
about that.
Isn't it more about not spreading than
yeah, it doesn't protect you. It's more about
Yeah.
protecting the people who you would be spitting on. But
And it's not.
But you should be self-isolating if you've got it anyway, right? So.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
you're
not like
contagious
but
before
if
you
you-
start showing symptoms.
Right.
and we were just talking about before Sean got here that there are plenty of people that are carriers that don't even show symptoms, or that just have like a mild cold and get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But initially they were saying like there was a lot of weird misinformation, like the masks are not going to even help that much, don't even use them. But the masks are totally effective. They were just trying to keep supplies reserved for medical professionals.
Well, it's also
Is that what
if
it
you
was?
don't wear the mask properly, then you lose a lot of the effectiveness of it.
I guess, but like why? Like, so tell people how to wear a mask effectively. I mean, like why?
I mean, but like
bother muddy
nurses have to
waters?
train with that shit every year. Even if you've already been
Yeah.
certified, every year you go back for retraining and refitting and repracticing because it's a difficult thing. So I think they're just
And,
trying to be like, you're not going to use this right. Please let the people who need it use it right.
But
You
that's
can
not
use
really
a
what they
fucking scarf.
said. There was a lot of like, don't use it. They're not that effective. Blah blah blah.
Well,
and now
for
some regulations are all changing. It's like, okay, yeah, go outside, wear a mask outside, even if it's handmade or a bandana. In
All
fact,
desperate times, right?
Yeah.
They would not be great for me because one thing I discovered, because I bought a pack of respirators back in 2017 for the wildfire smoke that we were having around here.
Yeah.
And I discovered that they're not really great if you have facial hair.
if you want to use an N95, you need
make a
to
proper.
shave.
Yeah, you can't make a proper seal unless you shave. And I was like, well, guess I'll die.
Except, I mean, for wildfire smoke, your beard is kind of a natural filter.
That's true. It's the ultimate flavor saver.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Soup
laugh, but it's
catcher,
actually
so-
true. I mean, it does catch a lot of particulates that would have ordinarily gotten into your mouth. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think it's going to help with coronavirus, but
You heard it here first, guys. Don't buy masks, just wear beards.
actually, I
don't
think a
care.
lot of healthcare professionals have been having to shave their beards to fit into the
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
respirators.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
no,
not enough masks over here for for all the people working in the NHS. So.
Yeah, we made some out of t-shirts. My dad came down and said, "Do you want one that's black, green, or tie-dye?" And obviously, I want tie-dye.
Obviously. All right, Neal. What's our next topic?
Oh, I'm looking
Is this
for
the
some
actual?
artwork.
Is this actually chit chat, or is this still the pre-show?
This is.
What were you expecting, Ryan? I think this is it.
I don't know. I didn't realize that this.
Well, this is the Malachi Resurrection episode, right?
Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, cool.
No, that was
Chat
on.
is
That was
the
on Wednesday.
pre-show.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
pre-show show. That's all it
The
is.
pre-show show.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Why am I getting sarcastic remarks from Faye in all caps? What have I done?
What haven't you done? Yeah, laugh it off.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, when someone says something weird and you don't know what they're doing, you just kind of ignore it, right?
She's just, nothing.
I don't know.
I'm not
Wait,
sure
what's
why.
going on?
I don't know. I just there.
Oh,
There's
he
like
told her she should grow a beard.
She is German, I think.
This.
I don't know what that means. I'm gonna let that.
I don't.
I'm not gonna explain it.
I
Are
mean, she's
Germans
basically
hairy?
a
I mean,
dwarf.
Yeah, I did not know that was a.
I don't think Germans are actually that hairy.
Well, I disagree.
I mean,
Maybe
of
it's
the
just wartime
Europeans,
propaganda.
they're not the hairiest of people.
No, like
Who is there?
I don't know. Like I think I don't know.
I would say
know,
of
yeah,
the
exactly.
Europeans, the Russians are the hairier ones than the
No,
Germans.
what? I think
Russians
most
across
of
Europe.
I think my thick facial hair comes from like Mediterranean roots,
Oh yeah, that was
yeah.
like
Italian?
ancestry.
Whoa.
Oh, you Italian, are you, Ryan?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's probably the best one to have, right?
The best one.
The best one?
Well, I think Italians tend to be the best looking Europeans, apart from maybe Swedish people. And then also the food's really good, so, No.
Yeah.
Did you inherit the wild hand gestures of the Italian people though?
I don't think so. Not sure.
That's a cultural
That's
thing.
more
maybe.
cultural.
Yeah.
Well, he
Nature
doesn't
versus
speak
nurture.
Italian, right?
I've
Can
been
you give us your
doing
best
some Duolingo
Italian?
lessons.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's hear it, Ryan.
Don't speak too soon.
I can't. I don't know. I can't speak it. I can just click the little buttons. I can identify. I can identify the picture of the table, whether or not the word underneath it is Italian.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason I can do anything that I'm picking up on Duolingo is that I actually like used to seriously learn the language in a classroom and not just do Duolingo lessons.
Yeah, I tried to do it for French, and I was getting on alright, but I just got bored of it eventually.
Somebody told me I was gonna drop it, so now I kind of want to keep going just out of pure spite.
Yeah, I'm on like a 30-day streak out of spite, but because
I saw somebody on a 400-day streak, and I want to be like them.
See if they can speak the language. Like, surely after 400 days, if you can't speak it yet.
I mean, it could be just 400 days of 5 minutes of clicking on pictures of tables. Or like, and a lot of like the translating, it's like they give you a little word bank. So like, I figure out most of it just by like, I don't know, process of elimination.
I think they were a pretty like serious user though, because they it seemed like they had learned to speak English in the first place. Also, they were on top of the leaderboard, so I'm guessing they used it a lot.
Yeah.
So this isn't someone you know then, this is just...
No, just like a person that I ran into on the leaderboard, and they beat me. Sad.
I didn't realize you could do like competitive Duolingo.
Yeah, you go up. I don't know what it does.
There's
I don't
like a
think
ladder. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's kind of artificial though. Like it just like matches you with 20 random people who are near your usage
they're in the
rate.
same league, and then you do depending on like whether you're in the lower league or the higher league, there's like a set amount. Like the top X will move up to the next league, the bottom X will move down to the next league, and then all the people in the middle will just stay where they are.
Right.
And then there's like a bunch of weird, like I'm not even at the halfway point, and I'm already in the Sapphire League, so I don't know what these.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this shit mean.
It sounds good though, Sean.
I'm in
It
a
sounds like
Sapphire
Diamond.
too. Are you Karen? Karen's been edging me out. I think she probably advanced last week.
Well, yeah, but Sean, are you doing Italian, Sean? Or are you doing...
No, I'm doing German.
Oh, does it match you with people in your same language?
I think
Or
so.
do you-
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
I thought it was just like
Ah, you're not doing the same questions.
No, I think because it's just you build XP for
it's just
doing
based
lessons.
on points.
So,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can choose
you might-
different lessons. And...
I guess you don't have to be in the same language. That's
Why
a good
would you
point.
wanna
I didn't
learn-
even consider that.
Why are you learning German though, Sean?
I used to speak it, and I got
because
to
he's got a
point-
beard.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, see, I got to be authentic. No, I used to speak it, and I was just like, it's kind of sad that this language I used to actually know decently well is now basically like a blip in my memory. Maybe I should fix that. So now I'm doing.
But it's like, is German a useful language? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, but it's very funny. It's a very funny language.
It is funny. Some of the words are just the way they just like string words together into
Yeah,
like,
that's my favorite part.
really long words. Yeah, it's
beautiful.
really great.
The flexibility of just like you can make a whole sentence out of slam a bunch of word. One Uber word.
I like that Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I mean I'm waiting for Greg to tell us what to talk about, but he's not here, is he?
I think Greg might be
coming?
asleep. He
Or is
said
he
that he was
drowning
going to be
in
able to
tax
make it,
documents?
but like,
Oh, is it tax time?
Didn't his homework get extended until like July?
the homework all got extended. He said that he was going to be here. I think he's asleep or distracted, and he'll like show up in an hour.
Yeah, let's give him his space.
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Show up in
He's
an hour.
going
Be like, guys, you haven't talked about eugenics yet.
He's really
No,
social
we'll
distancing.
get there
agenda.
within an hour if I'm at the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's your schedule, Neal? Busy?
Christ. At the beginning of this year, end of last year, I had a bunch of campaigns that were like sort of canceling, and it was almost becoming problematic. So I just took on a whole bunch of new campaigns. Like, well, if they all cancel about once a week, then I'll have like enough room to add another campaign in. And now no one's canceling ever because everyone is at home doing literally nothing. And so now there's just too much work. Everyone else is like, I see people doing all these weird videos of I'm so bored, this is what I've done with my time. And I'm like scrambling just to keep up with my day-to-day and then also talk to my family and then also talk to the friends in town. And I'm like just ignoring text messages and phone calls, and it's chaos. It's pure chaos. I have never been so
how many
busy in my
campaigns
life.
are you running? And
like
playing in?
It's fucking ridiculous.
7, goddamn.
So you're basically running every day.
Is that including like our campaigns? Are you including like Hobo and Dicing with Death? And...
So if we skip Hobo, because that happens like once a month, we'd have Desperate Measures, we'd have Outpost Santa Barbara, Heroes of Thylea, Dicing with Death, Empires of Arcadia, Of Dice and Men, and Shenanigans. So that's 7 every week, plus the occasional Hobo or Hardcore Heroes, except not anymore.
Well done.
Spoilers. Actually, this show is full of spoilers.
Can't believe you killed off Van like that.
I know.
Yeah, that's
well,
out of order.
That's what you get for missing necromancy.
Yeah. Life for a life.
Soul for a soul.
We won't. I mean, I want to talk about Hardcore Heroes, but we won't. I assume because we're saving that for later this month.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
go
have
for it.
the Q&A.
Oh yeah, we are
Okay.
doing a Hardcore Heroes Q&A. Well, shit, you can
Sean,
say whatever you want.
You should have, as a compromise, right? You could have put Malachi's soul in the staff. That would have been pretty cool. Then you could have carried it around, and I could have just been on the call and just said snarky things to you.
Have you put a soul in a staff?
I don't know. Can't you? Why not?
Magic jar spell or something? Like that would have been a whole campaign to go track down your soul and trap it in a staff anyways.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like a, well, why
Sean's
didn't you just
sick
put
of
my
Neal.
soul in a
He
staff?
doesn't want to play with him anymore. Why would he go off on that quest?
I think also like sounds like shit, man. Why do you want your soul in a staff?
Yeah, I know. It wouldn't have been great, but I think.
Would you really stay in the staff? You'd like hop over to an amulet and then to like a giant and then to
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And then you
I
go
never
kidnap
actually-
a person and
Yeah, it could have been a whole thing. No, I think you made the right decision though. Because Neal said to me that he was like, "Oh, I've got an idea, but you won't like it."
yeah,
So
no, he had been saying that for the whole month.
So I assume the idea was
Dude,
whatever he was
Are you
trying to get you to go along with.
Are you waiting for the Q&A to tell us what that idea was, Neal?
Oh, I'll never tell what that idea was.
What?
God damn it.
No,
I know it's.
that shit is secret. That shit is on lockdown for all time.
It makes me almost more angry than the 20d10 breath weapon.
Not telling you what the plan was.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
His plans are never as impressive as he makes them. Like half of the fun is him hyping it up like he's got some big secret, and there's really it's just like a big sketch.
Ryan, you're
I mean,
spilling
like-
my secrets. What are you doing?
You tell him.
He was just gonna put Malachi's soul into like a mummy or a lich or something like that, and take him over as an NPC. And
Ah, you know me too well.
Ryan's the friend who embarrasses you when you're trying to act cool to impress the girl you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but also it might secretly work out in the end. I don't know.
Endears the girl to him in the end, yeah.
I'm trying to remember when Neal was first courting his wife.
Uh-oh.
What? Are you owing like?
I don't know what the story is gonna be. Is what I'm.
I don't know the
owing.
story. I'm trying to remember. No, I'm not preparing to tell a story. I'm literally scratching my old man memory for how I behaved. I feel like I kind of wingmaned. I don't know. I at least nudged her in your direction and got out of the way, and then I moved halfway across the world to give you your space to grow and develop.
Yeah, but that was an easy one because she was into me before I even really was into her.
Oh,
so
just check
that
this
was
out.
that was super chill.
Being Lothario Neal over here.
What? Lothario?
Lothario Neal, yeah, she was into me before. Oh
What's
my god,
Lothario?
teaching you guys words.
Man who behaves selflessly and irresponsibly in his sexual relationship with women. They are seduced by a handsome Lothario who gains control of their financial affairs. Oh my god.
I've never heard this word
Is this like a
before.
Shakespeare character or something like that?
Have you really never heard that word before?
I've
I've
never
heard the word. What's the origin?
I think it is like a character, maybe. I don't know.
And Hertinius Curious Man is the story that it's from, I suppose.
Ah, yeah, that classic.
Sorry.
Don Quixote.
Oh, it's Don Quixote.
Okay.
Oh, it's talking
Story
about Don Quixote.
within the Don Quixote novel.
Has anyone watched that movie on Netflix called The Platform? It's like a Spanish one.
No.
Oh,
Is
it's
it
based
based on Don Quixote?
It is, yeah, and it's a harsh critique of capitalism. So I found it engaging,
Very timely.
interesting. Yeah, you should check it out. It's fun.
It's
Like,
as
I'll
if
give you-
the apocalypse
the,
weren't enough of a critique of capitalism.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like
So
literally-
that is right. This guy wakes up in a room with one other person, right? And there's like a hole in the middle of the room. There's people above him, like more floors with people above him, and then more floors with people below. And every day, a platform comes down with food on it from the top, and there's loads of food, like enough for everyone. But it goes down level to level, and everyone can just eat as much as they want. So by the time it gets to like the lower levels, like there's no food, right? And people are starving to death. And every month you wake up on a different random level. So he starts off on like floor 32, so he's got enough food. But then like the next month he like wakes up on like floor 200 and there's like no food. And he's got to like try and survive for a month, and then it keeps moving. But if everyone just ate their fill, you know, there'd be enough for everyone.
What if my fill is the whole damn tray?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's it, isn't it?
You're a degenerate, and we need to get rid of you.
I liked it though. Yeah. Look,
Interesting.
Fork Tongue 32. Awesome movie. That's fed.
Also a little bit
so
like
what-
Snowpiercer.
Yeah, a little bit like Snowpiercer, yeah. It's kind of like a mix between Snowpiercer and Saw, maybe.
Whoa. That's just not.
Those are both kind of similar movies already.
Yeah, do you know what? Saw, it really annoys me. That's one movie that they really ruined by like making 300 sequels or whatever it was, because the first one was really great.
Was it? I've
But,
never actually seen
yeah.
it. I thought it
It's-
was
Oh, yeah.
just like grind horror.
No,
a
it's
little
not,
bit.
honestly.
It's an interesting
It-
concept. I don't know, but
The first one's worth it.
I feel like you can summarize what's cool about the movie in a couple of sentences. But
I liked it. I mean, I like horror movies anyway, so maybe I'm predisposed to it, but
yeah,
I'd recommend it.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of people having to saw their own legs off to escape.
Whoa, spoilers. You know. Okay.
And I guess the twist at the end was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. The twist is great. Another great movie, The Lighthouse. Have you seen The Witch? The guy who made The Witch. It's his new film called The Lighthouse. That was very good. Well acted.
I haven't seen
But-
either, but I was.
Oh,
Yeah. I've heard rumblings and been wanting to, but like, my wife's not really into that kind of stuff, so I don't really get to watch anything dark or scary or I don't know.
I think you'd like The Witch, Neal. It's like these people. It's like, I don't know, when would it be in American times? You know, like right after people started coming over from the US, and basically this guy gets his family gets exiled from the village because I can't remember what they've done, like argued with the priest or been blasphemous or something like that. So they basically just go and live on a farm out in the wilderness on their own, and there's some shady shit going on with like a witch in the woods, but you don't really know whether it's real or not like that. But their crops start failing, and then they all start running out of food, and like it's like massive
It's
paranoia
about
and
the
stuff.
Salem witch hunts that were going
No,
on?
it's not about Salem.
Okay.
But really
Probably
cool.
that general era, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's great though. Recommend it. Okay, well that killed the conversation. So
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
just want to
what's-
go see those movies.
you should do it. Yeah, download it.
There's
Just can't go outside.
movie that we came across a couple days ago that I haven't seen yet. It's this like 1984 Australian horror movie called, is it Razorback? Razorback. It's about a giant boar that terrorizes an Australian town in the mid-80s.
This sounds trashy. Is this your usual like?
Yeah, this sounds.
I don't think it's going to be a high quality film. I think it's going to
Okay.
be some like,
maybe inspiration for a
B-level
D&D monster.
horror movie about big boars and Australians. Something about people being
Australians
shoved in
scary enough.
holes. I don't know.
What about the
for
best Australian one is Wolf Creek? Seen that? That was a good one.
No.
Nah, it's just about like a serial killer in the outback chasing down young girls. It's a good one.
That does not sound appealing.
Well, it depends what you're into. Depends what you're into.
I chose a bad time to come back into this conversation.
Yep.
So what has everyone been doing with their time then? I guess Neal's been busy. Ryan, what have you been doing?
I don't know. Helping out Erin as much as I can with her essential life. I don't know. Applying for jobs.
Yeah.
Being a degenerate.
Doesn't seem like the greatest job market in the world right now.
No, right?
Bad timing, yeah.
Sean, how's
Yes.
your new job going?
Pretty good. I am working from home. I finally have things to do because I got put onto a different team, and the person I'm working with has been a lot more aggressive in like helping me get things that I need to get set up in order to do my work set up.
Nice. Are you a software engineer?
Yeah.
Okay. So working from home is probably more or less.
Yeah, it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Very.
Nice.
Yeah. And then aside from that, I've just been playing Bannerlord because that came out earlier in the week.
What is that? Bannerlord?
Oh, Mountain Blade 2.
I like Mountain Blade, yeah, okay. I've been playing poker. It's a lot of fun.
Online poker?
Yeah, like PokerStars, yeah. I put like 20 quid in. Yeah, I put 20 quid in and now I've got £100. So that's not bad.
Is this a stealth advertisement right now, Nick?
For PokerStars, I wish.
Are you
Yeah, I wish I was
sponsored?
sponsored. No, I don't think so. I think you've got to maybe bet a bit more to be sponsored. But I like it. It's a great game. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's similar to StarCraft, but it's like a strategy game that's like got a huge amount of depth. That you can invest as much time as you want, and you're always going to be learning and always going to be getting better. So I like that. Yeah.
That's nice.
All right.
I'm gonna go track down my coffee. Y'all better be more interesting when I get back.
We're just lost without Greg. That's the real
Yeah,
answer.
I know. So you don't have a list of topics then, Neal? No, this is a pipe dream.
Well, let's start with the Tiger King. All right, everyone's been watching Tiger King.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right.
That's a good idea.
Sorry, what?
Tiger
Oh,
King.
Sean.
It's a Netflix show. You know what we're talking about. You might not have seen the whole thing, but you know what's up. You can't exist in the modern world without at least
listen
having
to
heard of
this
Tiger
guy.
King.
You think I exist in the modern world?
You have at least seen a meme about tigers or gay polyamorous rednecks.
The Tiger King. What?
I am actually
Oh,
flabbergasted by this shot.
I don't believe it. It's a ruse. It's a ploy. He's too cool for school.
Have you
What's
seen
his
it,
ta-
Ryan?
Which is that?
Tiger.
What did I miss? Oh
talking about
no, I
Tiger
want
King.
to, but again, I can't convince Aaron to
No
watch it.
fucking
So
clue
like,
what this is. What? Is this like a reality TV show?
yeah,
It's
well, yeah.
halfway
it's a
between
documentary.
reality
It's a documentary.
TV and documentary. It's like documentary style, but it's really fucking juicy, and so then they just show you these like ridiculous things. So it's not quite like actual intelligent documentary. It's like reality is so fucked up. If we make a documentary about it, it's basically a reality TV show. So it's this weird hybridized thing.
Yeah.
And
I remember when this
it
guy
is
ran for
insane.
president a few years ago.
Yeah, he did, and then he ran for governor of Oklahoma.
Not
Yeah.
Florida?
Oklahoma. He's from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I thought he was from Florida.
No, one
You
of
would
the other
think so,
people's from
wouldn't you?
Florida.
Okay.
The
Oh,
woman's
the other
from
dude,
Florida.
Carol. Yeah, what do you think about Carol and Neal? Did she kill her
Well, I
husband?
haven't finished
feed
the
him to
whole thing, but
tigers?
of course she didn't kill her
Oh,
husband. There's no way.
I mean, you say that, but she might have
No,
done
no. That's just all the hype. She did not kill her husband. That's ridiculous.
Okay, we got one vote. So
Look,
you're not
okay,
on
that
team.
guy is so wealthy that if he wanted to disappear, he could disappear in a heartbeat without, like, that's not even a problem. And, as his buddy said, if he was hiding money, like physically hiding it, he might be like, huh, in a divorce, she's going to take half my stuff. So fuck it, I'm just going to take my money and disappear anyway, and she can have that half, and I'll just have my own half, and I'll just, like, live my own life. That's
Okay.
totally what went down.
Counter argument there. right? She literally has a shitload of tigers. So she had motive, she had opportunity. And
are tigers good for disposing of bodies? I don't know that they are.
I don't know if that they are either. In the show, at one point, they say like it'll eat the tiger acid. The acid in the tiger's stomach will dissolve chicken bones, and they won't show up again. But chicken bones are not human bones, and I don't know if you could make an entire hip bone disappear. There's no way a tiger is going to eat an entire hip bone all the way down to the core.
Right,
They'll leave remains.
I've had cats. Neal's got a cat now. They aren't very good at disposing of bodies. In fact, they tend to accumulate bodies.
Yeah.
They eat the liver and then leave the rest of it.
Yeah.
Or they'll
on your porch.
Or they'll slowly eat the rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll slowly eat the rat, but then get bored halfway through and just leave half of a rat carcass.
Yeah.
Well, they gift it to you.
We're talking about the cats here.
Sign of
the same
respect.
thing.
Yeah, they are. Same.
Same,
but different.
Yeah.
So I just refer though. Have you seen that movie Snatch, which I assume you have because that's a classic? Mm-hmm. Well, the bad guy in that, he says something like, because he feeds his people he kills to the pigs, right?
Pigs, which are
and he's
very different animal.
But he says don't ever trust anyone with a pig farm. So I extrapolate that. Don't ever trust anyone with 50
tiger
tigers
cage.
or whatever.
I feel like if the cats trust him. I don't know. I haven't seen this yet.
And this is why
I feel like you shouldn't trust anybody with a tiger. But that's I don't think I need to know the idea of the ability to feed somebody to tigers to know that you should not trust somebody who owns a tiger. I think just the simple fact that you own a tiger is enough.
What if you're on 150, Sean?
That's worse. You just multiplied the weirdness by 150.
Yeah, exactly. So you tell me this woman isn't capable of feeding someone to the tigers? Of course she is. Of course she is, Neal.
No. This is why it's not a documentary, because they have this thing where people are accusing this woman of something juicy, and they're like, cool, let's get all the slander, let's put all of these crazy conspiracy theories in front of you, and then we'll have a 2-minute shot of the cops being like, yeah, we checked the place, there was no evidence, you would see a murder site somewhere, that woman definitely didn't do it, and then move on and keep being like, but did she do it? And now everyone's a sudden an expert being like, oh, she totally killed her husband, that's exactly what happened. It's fucking bullshit, and this is why it's not a real documentary.
It is. Okay. I will concede.
It's junk TV to the core, and this woman's life is being ruined by it. And I'm okay with it because it's really fucking entertaining.
Yeah, life's not being ruined. She's famous.
You don't... she was famous beforehand. Now everyone thinks she's a killer.
I'm not buying that.
I think...
People thought that anyway. There was at least 10 people that thought it before.
It's 10 people, and now it's 400 million people think she's a murderer.
I don't think, like myself, I don't think many people actually think she did it. It's just funny to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
But now the poor woman will forever be known. A bad person?
Joe, then, yeah.
I mean, they're all cult leaders.
Yeah, they are.
There's a cult? Oh my god. I need to see
3 cults. Two of them are polyamorous. And... yeah.
One of them,
I swear to God, these guys are actually... Joe's sort of my hero. He is the truest American that ever existed. And despite his batshit insanity, I am so proud to live in a country where a man can live like this and do this shit.
Imagine my surprise when he was a libertarian. Yeah.
He's not a libertarian. He didn't even know what Libertarian Party was. He just ran into that platform because his campaign manager told him to.
Well, the guy owns a lot of tigers, and he's, no one can take away my right to own tigers, right? That's libertarian. Having one libertarian idea does not make you a libertarian.
There's a difference between libertarianism and being an anarchist, right? And one of the big defining features of libertarianism is their belief in free market capital, right? That's a big chunk of libertarianism. Yeah. So if you're running on a platform of I should be able to own as many fucking tigers as I want, there's not much there distinguishing you from just being an anarchist. And there's a whole lot of different anarchist political ideologies on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Has Sean actually seen Tiger King, or is he
I've never heard of this show in my life.
Never even heard of it.
All right.
It's all the rage on Netflix right now. It's all the rage in the entire binge watch of quarantine.
Yeah.
I don't watch things though. I don't know. I play games. I read books.
I mean, it's stupid enough.
I finished book 2 of The Wheel of Time.
Nice.
Oh, there we
Lots
go.
of flickering going on.
Let's talk
Flickering.
All right, we had our chat, Nick. Now it's time to let them have theirs.
about it.
I didn't know there's much. I'm glad that I came back and finished this book. I don't know if I'll continue with the series, but I guess I said that after reading the first one.
The second book had one of my favorite endings in the series. Like, it was just so well put together, and like everything kind of comes.
I feel like
big clusterfuck.
I guess it's kind of by design, but it all kind of seems too convenient. Like, it all comes together too well, and it's all so predictable. But I guess that's like the point, because like all this has happened before, and it will happen again, and
Yeah, and then you also got
every
like
way possible.
time doesn't want to be unmade, so it's like, fuck, I gotta like strong arm some things into motion here.
Yeah. But anyways, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, good Wheel of Time talk.
Yeah, what's the deal with Celine? Does she come back later? Because I kind of hated. That was like the.
Yes, but she's not as Celine.
She comes back as like the goddess of death or whatever that lady is. I couldn't figure out if he's just really bad at writing women or if she's very obviously a villain.
He's really bad at writing women. He does get better, but he is really bad at writing women.
Like, she shows up and, oh, she's the most beautiful girl you've ever seen, and she's totally leading you in the right direction. And everything's fine, and it's not a trap. And then there's no trap. I was expecting her to be like a dark friend or something and stab them all in the back. And
Celine is one of the more interesting characters.
Really? I'm not seeing that. But anyways,
not in book 2. so I'm trying to think of a good way to.
You don't need to spoil it.
I can't really see.
You don't need to spoil it.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid spoiling things. I'll say that a lot of the stuff that goes on with Celine is some of the better writing he has regarding female characters, until like Robert Jordan gets his shit together in a lot of ways around like book 9 or 10. But there's a lot of bad shit with women. There's a lot of like the necklace dangled between her breasts for like the next 5 books, and it's just, oh god, it's really great if you're like me and you read that and you're like,
nice,
that'll be Jordan. Nice.
I don't know, you were kind of selling it to me now, Sean.
Oh my god.
I feel like you can't really spoil this book, can you? Because it's all so like archetypal, right? Like, just go.
Yeah, no. The first 3 you can't really spoil much because everything's just kind of like it is like super basic fantasy.
Just like he's the hero and he fights the devil, and
yeah, you can.
It's destiny. Can
start to spoil things around book 4 because that's where it starts breaking away from archetypes and starts being a very different beast altogether.
How many books are there? Like 16?
14.
14. Have you guys read Song of Ice and Fire? I know it's not finished, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Is it better than that, Brian?
Better. It's different. It's less new. I don't know. It's less nuanced. It's like yeah. No, it's not better writing than George R.R. Martin, but it's like it's good storytelling, world building, and it's very
I will say
it's not very original, but it's almost so unoriginal that it's good. Like, he does a really good job of taking these like classic legends and myths and like basic like human stories and weaving it into like I don't know, and like an interesting cosmology, the whole like multiple realities all intertwined, and like the whole idea of like prophecy and like, but like not even like prophecy. It's like all of this has happened before an infinite number of ways. So it's like, of course, this is destined to happen.
It's the Wheel of Time.
There's a lot of, one of the neat things about prophecy in that is that it's not like you can do whatever you want because prophecy is going to guide you in the right direction. It very quickly becomes characters going like, okay, I'm destined to do this, so I'm going to do this thing because it'll help me fulfill this destiny. So it's going to work because I'm supposed to do this.
But it's also like, do I do this in this timeline, or was it?
And people start gaming the system to try and like, or mostly Rand starts like gaming the system a little bit and doing really reckless things because he's confident he can get away with it because he's prophesized to do like something similar.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
But I will say, like, once Jordan kind of figures out where he's going with the series, I do actually like his writing style more than George R.R. Martin. Although George R.R. Martin is a fucking fantastic writer when it comes to like the pure quality of his prose. Like he's really good. I thought books 4 and 5 of the Song of Ice and Fire series were really boring, but he does have incredible.
I don't know, boring, just like convoluted, and
Yeah, I agree. I still enjoyed them, but
Brienne's wandering around was really boring.
Yeah,
Bran, didn't have enough chapters for my liking. Bran in the later books, they only got like 2 chapters in the last book. I think it's on maybe book 3. It's all the stuff with Cersei in book 4. I think was a bit boring.
My fucking god!
Yeah, when she like was becoming an alcoholic and just sort of going off the rails.
Yeah.
God, I tell you what though. I mean, I defended Game of Thrones TV show for a long time against a lot of people in my friend group who were slagging it off, but you cannot defend the last season. It was so bad.
Wait,
Neal, you did defend that. I forgot about that.
I will continue to defend it. It's not.
I don't
as bad
even
as
have
people
to
like
because
to
I
make
stopped
it.
liking that show in the 3rd season.
The writing clearly
I
went
kept
down.
watching.
Like the first couple seasons, they stayed very relatively faithful to the books and to the writing style, and it was great. And then like season 3 or 4, of course, the show gets so popular. The writers like, we're doing this, we're so cool, and we're gonna like change this and that for our cinematic purposes, and like it declines.
And then 5 and 6 roll around, and they're like, I'm kind of bored of this. I want to go start another project. Let's just wrap this shit up.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. Because apparently HBO offered them another 2 seasons, and they turned it down. Yeah. So that really pissed me off when I heard that.
There was a decline, certainly, and the last season definitely was not excellently done. But each, I think, individual episode is on its own is fine. It just doesn't. It
doesn't do justice to the rest of what became before. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say
I feel like it was shit, and the only thing propping it up was the amazing visuals and costumes and sets and fight choreography. But like, as a story, it kind of just, I don't know.
I did quite like you're right, the visuals. I quite liked when Daenerys went all like Nazi in the last episode, and she was like wearing all black and giving this little speech about how she's conquered the world to all her soldiers. And she was like on top of the burned out pyramid with like, or the burned out castle with the dragon behind her. It looked really cool, and I kind of like that direction for her, but it's just executed poorly. There's just so many things, like little bits. Like, do you remember in the last episode where what's his name, Grey Worm, is like executing some Lannister soldiers, and Jon's like, you can't do that, basically. And there was like a bit of a moment, like, oh, are they gonna fight? Like, I just think they missed an opportunity. Like, when Jon goes to, spoilers, kill Daenerys at the end, he should have had to fight Grey Worm to get through him. The Grey Worm should have been like, hey, back off.
Well, then they would have had to do another episode, and then...
Could have just been a sweet fight scene for 5 minutes. Jon kills Grey Worm. Like, I mean, fuck it, you're already throwing the story out the window. Like, why not? Just, like, have some cool shit. And the dragon should have killed Jon at the end. That was stupid as well. That would have been a better ending.
He's a Targaryen too. Dragon loves him.
Yeah.
Because he just killed Daenerys, and also Jon just be like, I don't want to be king. I'm just going to live in the fucking snow with my dog. Like, see you later, guys.
That's the perfect J.R.R. Martin ending.
John
George
understands.
No way.
John understands that leaders are a bad idea.
The idea that Jon gets like relegated back to the Night's Watch is the perfect ending for him. I loved it. It was beautiful. It wrapped everything up perfectly.
Bullshit. No, it doesn't.
Yes.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
If the books are ever finished, if he doesn't die before he finishes them, you'll find that is the ending of his last book.
I think most of the major plot points are as Martin.
Oh, yeah, no. All that stuff. I guarantee you the reason it's bad is because they didn't have the back. Like, they could not back what they were doing on George R. R. Martin's original writing, which is a lot better than what they could cook up when they had to sort of freewheel it based on his notes.
Yeah.
And they
but
kind
the
of
things like Daenerys becoming a mad queen. Like that's
I can believe that.
How Martin
I can believe that, but
Absolutely.
I don't believe that Jon. I don't believe that Jon will just go and live beyond the wall.
Oh, he's probably going to do that.
No,
He's
beyond the wall.
yeah.
He's the Night's Watch again. He's not beyond. He's at the wall.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't joining the Night's Watch. He was going to live beyond the wall with all the wildlings.
Well, he's taking the wildlings and like they're the new Night's Watch. He's like reforming the Night's Watch with all the wildlings.
Yeah.
So lame. So lame.
No. Solid.
I feel like the biggest problem is like it's all of it's like, oh, of course this happened. This is the best ending, but it just felt like you got like it's the journey that matters, and you kind of skipped over having a compelling journey and like making it make sense.
How is Bran being the king the best ending? That makes no sense.
That actually is the one thing that I'm a little
Yeah. It's the only thing. That's Bran's entire point. His entire character has absolutely no value through the entire season other than being shoved out of a window, except for the fact that he's going on this journey to become the perfect person to become king because he knows all the stories. Also, George R. R. Martin literally was like, all right, here's this person. All he does is tell stories, and he wins and becomes king. It's very like self-aggrandizing. It's the author being like, the storyteller's got to be the leader. It's the one to do it.
So if I was George Martin now, right? Because John's dead at the end of the last book, right? He's not been resurrected yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just leaves him dead. Like that would just
I don't
the story from the book. I don't think he would do that. I don't think he will, but I think he should because I think that would just be
I don't agree.
It would fuck over the show.
Yeah, but if he's got a story, he's not gonna throw away his entire story that he's been writing for like 20 years just to like fuck over people who did his book poorly as a movie. That's a show.
Yeah, and like if you're writing a compelling narrative, it shouldn't matter that people have been spoiled on what happened. It should be compelling regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it's gonna be different. I guarantee it.
Of course, it's gonna be. I think he's. But
I mean, it's going to be more detailed. The show diverged from the books in so many ways, but like.
So George stopped helping on the show because I don't know. It's been a while since I finished the books, but there's like the Black Fires, like the other Targaryens, like the sort of like offshoot of the Targaryens called the Black Fires, right? They were like a bastard offshoot, and there's one of them pretending to be Aegon that's assaulting King's Landing at the end of the last book.
Mm-hmm.
With John Connington. So when the show wanted to cut that storyline out, George Martin basically said that the story doesn't make sense without this in there, and they refused to include it. So that's when he said, like, well, I'm not going to work on the show anymore. So there's clearly going to be that's going to play a big role.
I mean, I think that may have been is that Daenerys' army. Like in the show, they kind of glossed over how Daenerys like sieged King's Landing without. Right? Doesn't Young Egg and John Connington have like the ground forces?
They've got the Golden Company that they're using.
Yeah,
no, the Golden Company's with Cersei, right?
That's another mercenary company. I think it is the Golden Company, right? Cersei hires them, but then they can't afford to keep paying, and they switch over to.
But I guess I don't think it will be Daenerys that defeats Cersei. I think it will be these other Targaryen guys that defeat Cersei. Because what got me with the show is like the narrative of the Night King being defeated in episode 3 and then Cersei being defeated in episode 6 felt wrong. Like it should have been the other way around. Like the Night King should have been the last battle. That should have been the battle for mankind, right? So I feel like in the book it might work a different way where like Cersei's defeated earlier on, and then the two Targaryen clans maybe unite to help fight the Night King in the finale or something like that.
I don't know. I could see having people join together to defeat the Night King, and then the end result is nothing changes, and the people still have to fight amongst themselves. I kind of get that.
One thing I think you need to consider here is, I believe it's George R. R. Martin who said that he loved the ending of the Lord of the Rings books, where they destroy the One Ring. But now we got to go back to the Shire and kill that other asshole. And it's he said that like when he read the books the first time, he hated that, and then over the years he realized how much he loved it, and he wanted to do something similar.
Yeah. So they killed the idea King, of like, and then they've got to go back to King's Landing and take care of Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can't really trust authors because they lie notoriously, but like he's clearly aware of that at the very least. He understands what that is. So I would not put it past him to do the that sort of subversion of not doing the typical narrative climax followed by resolution.
Yeah. It does feel a little anticlimactic to have this whole undead army build up, and then, like, granted, that was the best zombie movie I've ever seen, that one episode.
That's all there.
Yeah, but, like, it did feel a little... That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
The Army of the Dead arrives, and there's one battle, and it's over. Cool.
Yeah.
And like, cool. I don't know if I have to imagine Martin will do a better job in the books. The biggest problem with that episode in the series is it felt like there were no stakes. Like you'd see all of these characters and it felt like there were no consequences, right? Like you see the characters jump into a horde of zombies and then come out unscathed over and over again. There were like so many times you're like, oh, are they dead? Nope, never mind. Nobody does.
Especially like characters that couldn't even fight that well. Like, all right, if it's Brienne, then fair enough. Okay, maybe she's like such an amazing fighter that she can survive. But like Jaime Lannister, like how is he managing to survive?
What? He's the greatest swordsman.
Not anymore.
Not since he lost his hand though. And then even like Samwell Tarly is one of those ones that survives.
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's stupid.
Well, so Jaime had that whole like plot in the show that they then just kind of dropped of him like learning how to fight with a sword with his other hand. So maybe that was just going on in the background. I don't know.
I think
People
at some
aren't good
point,
storytellers.
I think at some point Jaime says something like, "Look, I'm not actually going to get any good at this. Moving on." Right? I think he admits defeat as learning to be a swordsman again, which makes sense as his arc because his entire character was.
I don't remember him doing that.
I'm a swordsman. I'm so great as a swordsman, and then he loses his hand, and he's like, "Shit, I can't be a swordsman anymore. I have to find out who I am as a person now when I can't do this."
Another thing that really annoyed me is like Jaime's character arc throughout the whole story is like one of the best things in the book, I think.
And they threw it away in the last episode.
Episode. You know what? I actually love Cersei, so I'm just gonna go back.
Yeah.
And then like, it's just lame.
Yeah,
which may be where he ends up, but they didn't do a good enough job of like explaining.
It's a lot more of the how than
justifying.
What.
Yeah,
and it's worth noting that he ditches Cersei a lot sooner in the books. Like he sticks with her for a much longer time in the show.
Yeah.
So that might play into it as well. I don't know. I think a lot of the things that we saw in that last season are probably going to be similar to what we saw or what we're going to see in the books. I mean, he doesn't keel over dead. But
and even like Euron Greyjoy, like his whole shtick at the end is like, "Oh, I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister." Like Euron in the books is like the biggest badass in the world. Like
I really hated that character in the show. Like what? And it's why?
Wait, like, Euron Greyjoy.
They have the biggest budget. Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. They have the biggest budget in the world. Why is he some smug douchebag and not like
he's just an edgy
villain
asshole
walking around? He's supposed to have like a bunch of magic items, right? And plate mail made out of Valyrian steel.
Yeah, he's like a total badass.
Smug pirate. I don't know.
And he never stops looking like a hobo. Yeah, it's not.
He's almost like a frat boy. Like his whole thing is just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck your girl."
Yeah, right. And his crew with their tongues cut out. Did they just like gloss over that in the? Is that even mentioned? I don't know. Like he's
It is mentioned at one point in the show, but not really properly. That whole character was a letdown. And then they miss out the other character, like his brother in the book, who's got a red priest with him at the moment. At the end of the last book, it's not what's his name? It's not Euron. Victarion,
right?
I think Victarion Greyjoy. Like he's a total badass as well. He just wasn't even in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand if you have to cut things or merge characters for the sake of like
they
compressing
did that from very
show.
early on. Like there was a lot of just kind of glossed over stuff.
Well, Game of Thrones
could have been done better.
Yeah. I'm glad you admit that, Neal.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. But when you start a show that's basically as perfect as you can make a TV show in the first season, like there's nowhere to go other than down. You know, it's
it was so good the first season.
Yeah, I will say, like the first season, like they cut out a lot of things from the books and they took things away because they had to simplify it for TV because you can't do the same sort of story. Like that's an adaptation, though, right? That you have to adapt it that way to make a TV show from a book. And I think they did a really good job adapting the first season. Second season was pretty good too. Season 3 was where it was getting a lot of like character says edgy, snarky thing. Character responds with edgier, snarkier thing. Character 1 goes, Sansa Stark, you might just survive us yet, and then scene ends. And I was getting really fucking sick by the third.
I still like season 3, but I do know what you mean. It's kind of a gradual decline. Even just the very first scene in Game of Thrones, I just thought was so badass. Like, where they go beyond the wall and they see the see the White Walkers and they all die. And the guy like tries to tell Ned Stark, and he's like, "Nah, mate, sorry, head off."
They're fucking scarier in the books, though, right? Because they have like swords that don't really exist or something.
Yeah, the description of the White Walkers in the books is way scarier. Yeah, But in the beginning, they took their time to show you what was going on, rather than just like jumping to, here's the action point, here's the edgy words, and here's the thing that we wanted to show you, right? In the beginning, it's like the nice slow plodding through the snow. You're like, where's this going? What's happening here? That's a weird collection of dead bodies. I don't know what's happening. My imagination is running wild, and I'm getting scared for myself. And then in the later seasons, it's just like, well, dialogue and dragons, right? That's what this is about. Oh, and tits. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dialogue, dragon, and tits. Done.
I just thought it was such a great move how the very first scene, the viewer or the reader sees this threat that exists, and you know that it's real, but every other character in the show thinks it's bullshit, and you're the only person who's in on it. And then he manages to like hold back off on it for like 4 whole books before they even like show back up again. I must just think that was a great, because it puts you in that position of like screaming at all of the characters who are like not taking it seriously and being like so angry that they're not believing Tyrion or whoever it was that was saying it.
Yeah, that's a very well done bit there.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, as one last thing about the Wheel of Time, just pull us back into that discussion real fast. One thing that I really liked about it, Ryan, that I think you might like if you stick with it, this takes a little while. I think the first time you really see this is like the 5th book, but when he kind of like figures out his shit, I really like how he handles action in his books. Because like right now you're doing like the epic duels.
Oh, that's the thing where I hate the most about it. His fight scenes are like, and then he did Heron wading through the weeds, and then Tiger pounces. And
so like early on, and then like early on, some of the magic fights are like 2 characters just like standing facing each other, slinging like weaves at each other. But around like the 5th book, you get this point where like people are basically artillery cannons, but they can kill each other before the other one has a chance to react. So all the fights are them like running around cities trying to hide the fact that they are where they are, and then like basically just throwing a fireball and nuking an entire sector of a city. They're going like, I hope that killed them. Nope, gotta run, because then suddenly they fire it back. It's a lot more like,
that's what high level wizard duels sound like.
Yeah, and Jordan was a soldier. Like I think he fought in Vietnam, and it feels a lot like that. Like a lot of the action will start, and you'll get like a couple sentences in, and then your brain will be like, "Wait a second, is there fighting happening right now?" And you kind of like slowly roll into it, and everything just happens very quickly and is very confusing, and you don't get all the details. It's very well done in that regard, and I really like that aspect of it. I actually love the sword fights.
And his concept of like I don't know anything about.
Because like, okay, so I've read a lot of fights where it's like their swords clashed at blinding speed, sparks flew through the air, and I'm like,
too.
I'm resident sleeper. But then it's like ribbons in the air met stones falling from the cliff, boar cutting through the underbrush met heron wading through the rush.
So
I'm like,
feel like Neal and Nick, and like he describes his like sword training as these silly moves that he doesn't explain them, so he doesn't make it like slightly
he does explain some of them, but he always exaggerates them to make them as ridiculous as he can. Like absurd.
So like instead of describing a sword fight, he's like describing Rand's thought process of like, okay, these moves that I've trained, and he's like, now I'm gonna do like
and it's like one person
valley, and now I'm gonna do I don't know.
And it's one person does a sword form, the other person meets with other sword form, and then they're constantly shifting to other sword forms. It's frankly closer to how real sword fighting works than most fantasy sword fighting.
I'm not a swordsman, but I don't think there's I don't think there's that many possibilities of
normally you don't have these ridiculous fucking names for sword forms as far as I know. They mostly just call it
And I don't think when you're thinking through an activity, physical or otherwise, you don't like you get so good at it that these things you skip these steps. You can't be thinking through like, okay, and then I'm gonna do this move. And
but he doesn't
appear and counter.
It's
all too analytical. I don't know.
Yeah, but he doesn't really talk about their thought process so much, right? He's just describing like them shifting back and forth through form.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird, but I
see
actually
why he's doing it, because it is the alternative is pretty cringy as well. Like describing fights is like you were saying, like
I like it. I do get why it would throw some people off because it's really silly and over the top, but I actually like that about it.
Sounds weird.
Yeah.
No.
All right, next topic.
Next topic. All right. What do we got?
Where are you at, Greg?
Put in a Greg requirement for this show.
No.
Yeah, it's cancelled unless Greg agrees.
We're doing
Oh
fine.
wait, so something else I've been doing is playing this game. I've mentioned it to you before, Neal, called Twilight Imperium 4.
Yeah.
Guys, you got to get on board. This is the greatest board game in the world. You need to play. It takes about somewhere between 6 and 10 hours.
This sounds like, oh my god,
It's
this
like space risk.
No, it's much more. It's not. It's categorically not space risk. I mean, it kind of is, but then like, if you just fight all the time, you'll lose because fighting.
Wait, hold on. Is this Warhammer?
No, it's not Warhammer. No.
Oh, it's not Warhammer. Okay, I was gonna
Imperium
say
4.
so like half of that 6 to 10 hours is like reading the rule book and cutting out all the pieces, right? But
No. This is just we can play it on Tabletop Simulator over Steam, and it's fucking shit. I've been playing it so much. Honestly, it's great. We should play it.
oh, it's a Fantasy Flight game.
Yeah, it's fucking the best game. I think it's definitely like top 5 on Board Game Geek. It's awesome. Wait, hang on. I'm going to go and get it. Right, hang on.
But we've also been playing a lot of Dota lately.
Oh yeah.
Has been a somewhat painful experience for me.
Neal's.
I love Dota.
Yeah, me too. Neal's not very good, but he's putting in the time.
I'm getting better. I can reasonably play Juggernaut and Legion Commander now.
Well,
And a
the
little
fact that you think that you can reasonably play shows me that you have much to learn still.
Well, I know I have much to learn, so I'm still a scrub, but
okay.
like it's
I mean, that's
I
part of the
understand what I'm
process, right?
supposed to do now, you know.
I know chat can't see it, but look at it, right? So you build like the galaxy out of these little tiles like this, and there's like makes like a big board. Then you've got all these different types of ships that you can build. And there's like trade and technology, politics. There's like you vote on like laws and things like that, and it's just amazing. So good.
8 to 10 hours.
And you know, well, you can do it in
10?
6 if you played a couple of games, but it'll probably take like 8 the first time. But what else have you got to do? All right, Neal, maybe you're busy, but you know, Ryan and Sean, what are you guys doing?
While you were away, we were talking about how we're playing Dota these days.
Dota.
I'm sorry, you used to play HOTS with us, right? It's
Yeah.
essentially the same thing.
I tried playing.
Don't say that, Neal.
Wait, are you all playing Dota together? Are you?
Ryan and
No,
I
I
are playing
haven't.
Dota.
Yeah, this is a thing.
Games, but yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of sucked at Dota when I played it, but I imagine you two are probably quite bad, so maybe.
I'm quite bad.
I think Ryan is pretty good.
I don't know. No.
Are you good, or are you like me in that you watch like majors because it's the best esport ever, but then you're actually kind of bad at the game because you don't have enough time to like actually commit to playing it long term?
A little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also one of those things that like the skill ceiling is so infinitely high that like I'm.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I watch like the major, I'm always blown away by like just the execution on top of like all the game knowledge that they have. Just like they'll be in the middle of a very hectic fight and then also remember to turn off this active item effect, and it's like, oh, okay. And I'm always blown away by how much goes into a Dota match.
There is a lot going on. That was my initial thought looking at it. Is like there's so much to learn here.
Mm-hmm. It's nice because it gives you a skills that you can improve upon, unlike HOTS, for example, which is just you know a little bit of teamwork, learn a couple abilities.
Sorry,
you had a lot to improve on there.
Durnor, did you say dead game? I don't know what that acronym is.
He's talking about StarCraft, isn't he?
Whoa, hey.
What?
How's StarCraft dead?
I don't know.
Does anybody
I haven't
play that game
watched
anymore?
it in years. Does
anybody watch that game anymore?
Nobody plays it. People watch it. Yeah, nobody plays it. It's far too stressful and unfun to play. But
Yeah. Blizzard ruined that game again, or as well.
Legacy of the Void is the best iteration of StarCraft. We had this discussion as well, Neal. But you know.
No, but they killed the esports scene. They killed the game.
I mean, Blizzard did that to Heroes of the Storm too, where like we had like amateur leagues and Heroes of the Storm starting up, and then Blizzard crushed them so they could start their own league, and then they gave up on that league and pulled all support for it like 2 months before it was supposed to start, and fucked over all their players. Like,
no, they did 2 years of the official league in mods, but they did kill.
Yeah,
mods.
no, but then they canceled it with barely any notice. Like all the players were gearing up to reset their contracts, and then they were just like, actually, we're not going to do it this year. Sorry, guys.
No, they killed. They didn't kill StarCraft though. StarCraft's still going.
Yeah, I think StarCraft.
Is it though?
Isn't it?
I mean, like technically it's happening, but like StarCraft was the king of esports for a long time. Even though there were more popular games, it was still like the most difficult, most challenging game, and also one of the coolest. And now it's just sort of like, no one plays the actual game. There are some professionals that will stream it, but like all of the really good pros have sort of, I mean, I guess they're still there clearly, but like it's not what it was. It has lost its glory, and it's no longer the coolest shit around. It's just like a sad
the game is better now
reminder
than it was to watch. Honestly,
I don't think most people want to learn RTS games. Like, we don't see people making RTSs anymore.
No, I agree. Because it's hard to beat StarCraft, right?
Well, also, just like most people don't want to learn StarCraft, though. Like, I think it's just one of those game designs that
for me, they overcomplicated
we ever thought it would be.
Yeah, maybe, but they kept complicating it. Like, I learned StarCraft 2, and then the expansions kept adding new units, and then Legacy of the Void like rocked the boat and doubled your workers and totally changed the timing. So like, I can't watch it anymore because like I would have to go like relearn the game again. I don't know.
I don't know. I sort of know what you mean, but I think you can still get into watching it. What was I gonna say?
And I think the reason you can see something like MOBAs pick up a lot here, like Dota, is probably not as complicated as StarCraft, really.
No.
Or at the very least, like you can get into Dota and like play it on a basic conceptual level much more easily and much more effectively than you can StarCraft, right? Like you'll play a game of StarCraft, never having like played StarCraft before, and be like, what the fuck is going on? Whereas you'll be really bad at Dota, but like it's not that complicated. It's kind of like isometric strategy RPG a little bit.
Yeah, and you've only got one character, and like you know,
I think that some of the stuff they added into StarCraft later on, like the Archon mode and the unranked, like they should have had that kind of thing from the start, because it's just too brutal for people. Like with Dota, if you lose, you can always blame your team, right? It's not like you don't have to personally take it on the chin like every time you lose. Whereas in StarCraft, it's just
every
brutal.
loss.
There's nothing to blame on other than yourself.
Beautiful about StarCraft is because in Dota, it's just, oh, my team sucks, that's why we lost, and it creates this really nasty, toxic environment. But with StarCraft, the environment is like, I suck. I am not good enough to play this game. My opponent didn't cheat, I just didn't scout that attack.
So basically, Dota's audience is boomers, and StarCraft's audience is millennials, is what I'm hearing.
What?
Something like that. Yeah.
Boomers hate everybody else, and millennials hate themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
But Dota is a team game, which is different from StarCraft. Like Dota is more like basketball.
Yeah, that's true.
StarCraft.
Yeah, no, and that's a big thing. Like
singles tennis or something. I'm not sure.
We're seeing this in fighting games a lot now too, where like team tournaments and stuff like that are picking up a lot of steam. I think it's that people really like team sports.
Yeah. Team sports are
StarCraft's community is toxic.
I mean, they're all Europeans.
You should play a Dota game. I think Dota has to have one of the most toxic fan bases.
Oh God, no. Maybe in ranked, but like if you're just playing normals, like League of Legends is much worse.
Really?
League of Legends is one of the worst fucking communities I've ever seen in my life. The only one worse is Mordhau, and that's because it just has so many blatant Nazis.
Yeah, what is it with the Nazis in Mordhau? I've read about that.
You have those sorts of people, like Nazis, tend to get drawn into like medieval games and World War II games. Yeah, because one of the big things of fascism is that reverence for traditions. They get pulled into medieval games. Then like fascism is inherently violent and it's all about wars, so they get pulled into World War II games. And then you have developers who didn't give a shit about filtering those sorts of people out from their communities and buckled on things like including female characters in the face of like community backlash. So it's the perfect hangout place for Nazis because it's the kind of game that caters to their existence. Whereas if you look at Mount & Blade 2, they do have playable female characters. And when somebody was like, why are girls in the game? The dev just responded with get a life and closed the thread. Like that's,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's...
God damn Nazis.
All right, we're going to steer away from Nazis because we go down this path too often, all right? Changing the subject to Joe Biden versus Bernie Sanders. Now, up until now, it looked like Bernie was fucking out and Joe Biden was going to be the Democratic nominee.
Oh, yeah?
And
what is that hope again?
Well, I don't...
I wouldn't say hope because... So, there was recently a rape accusation regarding Joe Biden. But
Sexual assault.
Seen...
Right?
That's true. I guess technically, if you want to draw lines, it's technically just sexual assault.
Yeah.
Is that really going to change anyone's mind? Or
In a sane world,
Trump.
It should. But in the nightmare hellscape that we're currently living in, probably not.
Yeah, right. The best hope is that he gets corona and fucking croaks, right?
Oh my god.
No? Okay. Boris Johnson's got it, so...
Yeah, but he's doing fine, right? He's still...
Yeah. Is he doing fine? I don't know.
Is
he not showing up on TV?
We'll see.
No. Other MPs have had it and come back, and Johnson still hasn't.
Well, he hasn't shown up on TV in a while? Like, he's not doing...
He did, like, a small video in his house, and, like, we've been doing this thing where he go outside at 8 o'clock and, like, clap for the NHS every once a week. So he did a video of himself doing that, but that's it.
I mean, I don't think anyone's been doing much of anything, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's hunkered down. And
He's a thug.
And Joe Biden's probably loving this, right?
Yeah, probably.
Biden's
Yeah.
loving this?
Like,
I don't know.
Because the more he shows up on TV, the more chance he has to say something stupid.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing a whole lot lately.
He seems like he's not all there. Am I just like buying into
No,
that?
he's not.
Yeah.
Not. But you're not allowed to talk about that because it's ageist. So stop.
It's ageist. Okay.
He is definitely having his moments.
Isn't he the youngest candidate?
Tell me that's not true.
That's one of the things. He's younger than Sanders. He's younger than Bloomberg.
I love it. Oh god,
he's younger than Trump.
Like getting called ageist, and it's like you ageist bastard supporting Bernie Sanders.
Trump is younger. Trump is 73. Biden is 77.
Okay, but
Bernie's
Sanders is
78.
Yeah, and Bloomberg was like 81, wasn't he?
Oh my
Was he?
god.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy, by the way.
Yeah.
78 as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
I really
he did an about
watching...
turn pretty quickly after he dropped his campaign. He sort of was like, fuck it. All those things I said I was for, fuck them all. Fuck you all. I spent $1 billion on this shit and I didn't get anywhere. Burn the world down.
Yep. I really liked when Bloomberg dropped out and announced his support for Joe Biden. And after like multiple debates of Joe Biden implying that Bloomberg is one of the worst people ever, just immediately took Twitter and was like, thanks for all your support, Joe, and all the great work you did as mayor of New York, or all your great work you did as mayor of New York City, Bloomberg. And it was like, oh god, I love politics. I love it so much. It's
pretty great.
It's great.
It's hard because it's real and it has a direct effect on our lives.
Yeah.
Trump's gonna win. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking at it from across the pond. I just don't see a world where Trump's not the president again.
Well, we'll see, because that's
how
this
it's
whole
feeling.
thing right
but
here,
this whole global pandemic thing
has caused his approval rating to go up.
Well, everyone's approval. Yeah. During times of crisis, everyone rallies around the president. That's a common thing. But as it continues to go on, we'll see if that changes.
And if the economy doesn't turn around, that's basically what he's been hanging his hat on.
Skeptical. One thing that I would point out here is that right-wing media is very insulated and disconnected from mainstream media sources. And I don't think that, like, if the economy tanks, it's going to be because Democrats shut the country down, right? And if people start dying from the pandemic, it was an act of God. What could we have done about it? Like, maybe it'll hurt them. Maybe it's the wake-up call, but I remain very skeptical because you have a very dangerous and very prolific propaganda machine that is pushing out as much misinformation as it can to steer any sort of blame away from Donald Trump.
Yes,
I agree
the
with
media
you.
is the real danger here. It's the same in England as well.
But I think there is still hope. The idea that maybe we should have one healthcare system that we all work with together rather than having a weird middleman who tries to profit off of it.
Across every single political ideology, support for Medicare for all has gone up.
Yeah, so I feel like
Fucking
if
joke.
Bernie Sanders ever had a chance, this is now the moment where he's like, hey, I've been talking about this for like 20 years, guys. Here's an example of why
How
we might
badly
need
does he need to smash the remaining
Joe Biden needs
He'd have to get an
drop out.
average of 63% in every remaining state, unless that sexual assault allegation gains traction.
Joe Biden would
Well,
have to
that doesn't
drop out,
change the
basically.
numbers.
So that's
But
not
he would
unreasonable,
have to,
right?
if he dropped
It is
out,
very
he could
unreasonable.
pledge his delegates. Although I don't think that would ever happen. I think they would try and put Cuomo.
If he dropped out, right?
I don't think the I think they would do absolutely everything they possibly could to pull in. They would go like, get us Cuomo, and they would try and push him into the presidency.
Possibly.
They'd rather Trump be president than Sanders. I believe this
No.
wholeheartedly.
Yep.
I do.
No,
believe
I'm
it.
with Nick on
No,
that.
I don't think so.
I'm
I
with Nick
think
on this one. I think Trump is the best thing has been
Sanders
the best thing
is
for
an
the Democratic
existential
Party.
threat to the political connections that have been built in the DNC.
But Trump just gives them a villain. Their donations are way up.
Trump is worse for the world,
but-
but he's better for the DNC.
He's better for capitalism,
I
is
can't
my
believe
thing.
it. I can't believe that the DNC would rather have Trump than
The DNC.
I mean, I know they're a corrupt organization,
Yep.
as much as the RNC, but I can't actually bring myself to believe that they would rather have Trump in power than Bernie.
Yep. Yep.
They would.
I have too much faith in the world to believe that. I can't make it happen.
We're not talking about we're not talking about the average Democratic voter. We're talking
I understand.
about
We're talking
Because
about the
the
DNC.
the
no,
party
we're not
that
talking about
Sanders would lead is like far removed from the DNC's political.
I think
like
there is
goals,
enough
right?
of
Like,
a
they're
concern that
closer to
Trump
Trump
won't give
than they
over
are to
power
Sanders.
when he leaves, that the DNC
really?
is more worried about him trying to become an authoritarian leader who takes control over the country than they would be.
I
I
don't
don't
think that's
think the
realistic here.
DNC thinks that's a realistic outcome.
He's already
I don't think
floated
that's the common
his,
thing
I
from
should
voters
get
itself.
another term because my first term was ruined by all this bullshit. He's already floating
He
those ideas.
just says stupid shit.
and
that's
I am
not-
concerned that he might try and pull stupid shit.
I don't think that.
I
Would he
don't
get
think
away
that's
with it?
primary in the mind of the people who are.
I
DNC
think
senators.
I think the Republican Party would turn against him. The courts would turn against him.
Oh
You
no,
think
I think he could do it. I don't think the
no.
Republican Party would turn against him.
The Republican
I
Party
don't
would
think
back him
that's a
at this
big
point in
concern
time.
from the people who are running like the DNC, though. I think that's a big concern in a lot of voters' minds. I don't think it's
Realistically,
a
what would
concern.
that would take like a constitutional amendment or something.
More.
or just
Or it
people
would
not
just take
enforcing the
apathy.
rules of our government.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the army side with not
Oh,
Trump?
Very
Who
possibly,
knows?
because Trump is not popular with the military. So that
Yeah, right. So I think like any real attempt to seize power for an
Yeah.
authoritarian
so
state
you're
is going to need the
relying
backing
on a
of the
military
military.
coup in that situation. You're relying on the president saying, fuck you, I'm not leaving. I'm running again, and the military stepping in and doing something. That's a dangerous
saying that
situation to
he
be in,
really-
and that's
he
fucked up
knows
if
that
we
he-
get that far.
He knows that he'd never get away with it because the
No,
military
he
would stop him.
doesn't. You think he actually knows anything like that? This man has gotten everything he's ever wanted. He's publicly said that he can just grab women by the pussy, and everyone's like, yeah, it's fine.
Give a
He
fuck.
said he could shoot someone on 4th Street down in New York City, and people would still elect him. This man believes he can do anything he wants. He's blaming everyone
he
else for
probably
his own
could.
pandemic response.
Let's be honest.
The thing is,
it's a
what's
cold.
mad is that those statements that you've just said as like terrible reasons why he's a terrible leader. Like for a lot of people, that's why they voted for him. They like that about him. They like the fact this guy does what he wants. He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, shoot someone. You know what's more American than that?
You're also taking.
take what
I think
I
you're
want.
taking him too literally. I don't think he's. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go say this. I'm not that worried about Donald Trump instating an authoritarian regime that undermines our principal government. Much more concerning for me is that if Biden does beat Trump, it just paves the way for us to get an actual competent fascist in the Republican ticket in 2024. Like right now, we have wildly incompetent fascist who doesn't get anything done, and I'm
That's
worried that a
interesting
Biden
take.
ticket is going to push them into like coalescing around an actual dangerous one.
What Steve Bannon?
Steve,
No.
I don't think he
not
would
very
ever be president.
charismatic.
Yeah, he's not charismatic.
No, yeah, you're right.
Well, it's Mitch
Who is?
McConnell and Trump together. It's the pair of them that are making these things happen. and they're both in their late 70s. So, you know, in 4 years, they might not be around anymore. Just, you know, by
Trump's in impeccable health. He's a perfect physical specimen. I think we're stuck with him for a long time, Neal.
A very stable genius. Oh, that made me laugh. Because it's like, does he have no self-awareness, or does he just think that, like I know that people will think this sounds stupid, but I'm just going to say it anyway and let it be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think anyone actually really believes that he's a very stable genius and in perfect health?
I think he knows that if you just present the perspective you want people to believe as the truth and deny everything else, and you say it loud enough and enough times, people will believe it. And he's hit on this idea that you
won't
just
matter
repeat
what
the
people
lie.
believe, or
you can just distract and say
Most
whatever
of
you
what
want.
I see from Trump supporters is not a belief that he's like this all-knowing genius. It's more the media smears him unfairly. That's overwhelmingly the narrative I see from actual Trump supporters.
And
well, because you can't actually believe
people...
he's a genius. You can't listen to that man and be like, "Oh my God, he knows everything," right? Like, you watch his word salad. He starts one sentence. 5 minutes later, it's the same fucking run-on sentence, but now he's talking about something completely unrelated.
But mostly they're not. Mostly you're listening to the emotional content, or rather than what he's actually saying. And so the takeaway for a lot of people is, wow, he's speaking with confidence. Oh, he says he's smart. He must be smart. He says he got all this shit done. He says he's got a lot of money. He must, right? So the takeaway is he's smart and rich and he's confident. And
did you hear his comments when he was talking about the model projections for COVID-19? And he's like, I had nothing to do with the models. Well, not those models, at least. And then, like, keeps going on. Like, the man in the middle of a pandemic is talking about all the models he hits on and sleeps with. There's no way anyone can believe anything this guy's saying.
That's pretty funny, though.
That is pretty funny. Oh my God, I'm just gonna go to the toilet.
Yeah, this conversation makes me feel like I need to go to the toilet too.
Yeah.
All right, let's move away from this as well.
You brought up politics.
Yeah.
I know, well, because we were headed down the Nazi path again, so I switched to something more
You thought
palatable.
it was the lesser evil, and you were so wrong. American politics has gotten a little too Nazi.
I got a kitten recently. This is easy. This is real easy. We got a cat. His name is Pantaleimon, after the cat from the demon from the Golden Compass, which is my wife's favorite childhood book. And he's a noisy, bitey little fucker. Mm-hmm. I love the cat to death, but, like, this thing will bite your face. He'll come and sit on your neck and, like, start to play with you, and then just, like, chomp.
So when Lauren inevitably murders you, she's going to dispose of your body by feeding it to the cat?
I think so, yes.
Well, yeah, because their stomachs will melt human bones, so there won't be any sort of, like, leftover. And then the cat's fed for a few weeks at least.
Certainly.
Don't have to go to the store, which is important in a crisis like this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh. Stop doing store runs if you just eat each other. Nick, we've moved on to my cat. My recent acquisition.
Oh yeah.
My cat is also very noisy, but I don't think she's ever scratched or bitten anything in her life.
Really? God, my cat, fucking hell, she can't go a day without fucking me up.
Our cat has a flight or fight response that always ends in flight.
As on the side of flight. Well, that's good.
Doesn't just air. I don't think there is another side. It's not a fight or flight. It's just a flight response.
Yeah, my cat only has fight.
I'm gonna go find my cat. I'll be right back.
Okay, just.
So it can meow into the microphone. Chat can't even see the cat. Do we have a kitty emote yet?
We can see the cat though.
We don't. Yeah, we can. No cat emote.
I've heard about it in Doombug, but I'm not going to talk about it.
What is it?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you afterwards, Nick.
Is it relevant to me?
No.
Why would you care?
No. I didn't mean it like that.
You didn't hear about the invitation on a roleplay?
No, I didn't. I missed that one.
Oh. Well, I got my cat, but I gotta go.
What? Did it pee on you? What just happened? I don't know.
So, are we going to talk about hardcore heroes, or are we saving that? Do you think, Sean?
We talked a little
Save
about
it.
it.
We're doing a Q&A in a couple of weeks, so we'll just save it for then. And I think it's it's mostly because like when we do the Q&A, it's mostly gonna be like talking about hardcore heroes in general.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna cover it pretty comprehensively then, I imagine.
Should we talk strategy for Homeward Bound, Ryan?
I suppose it's hard to strategize that knowing what's ahead. I mean, I feel like the strategy is wait till you're at 1 HP and then try to survive. Hope that he's placed some loot boxes for us to find food in.
So I was thinking maybe...
Actually, maybe not, we got Sean here. We can get his intel, because I actually haven't watched Other Side. How do we eat? How do we live?
You eat each other, or you get possessed by those ghosts.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Auto cannibalism.
Those ghosts are never going to possess us because we'll get an opportunity attack and we'll definitely kill them on the opportunity attack. So that'll never work. Unless we roll 1, maybe, then it could work. But my plan so far, because we've got to hold the portal, Ryan. Otherwise, if we both go off looking for food, the demons will just come through the portal and kill us from the inside. So I think William stays behind recovering while Grimes tries to loot the temple for anything like healing potions or maybe water at least.
Is there any hope, Sean? Are there healing potions? Is there food?
No food. I mean, maybe you'll find... you could find a stockpile. Like, a stockpile... Possible.
I'm kind of hoping that we get to eat Kind's body. Like, because you preserved it with the oil of timelessness, right? So maybe we find that if the demons haven't eaten it.
How big is the temple? Like, is it possible that we could make a mad dash to the top in like a couple days?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You could get from the bottom of the temple to the top in one day if there's nothing in your way. But what would you do when you get to the top?
Go hunt, find food, find rations, find a town. There's no food.
Nothing like that. There's nothing like that, yeah.
So you're in heat stroke right now?
I think
so.
We think we're in the bottom of heat stroke. I guess we could go back through the portal and stay alive in the demon realm.
But don't you think there's going to be a large army of demons on the other side trying to get through?
Maybe we could use the portal as a guillotine to farm demons.
That's the high level play right there. Just let them come in one by one and just fucking rinse them with the portal. Cut them off.
That's also from the Wheel of Time. Funny enough.
Yeah. I mean, everything conceivable has happened before, and it will happen again. And most of it happened in the Wheel of Time.
I don't know how you guys are going to get out of this one.
What should we do, Neal? Give us some tips.
Don't trust Neal. He's going to lead you to your doom.
I mean, if I gave you a tip, would you even listen to it, as Sean has just pointed out?
No, but I'd cross it off my list of things to do. I can't try that then.
Well, I mean, what are your biggest concerns right now?
Eating.
Healing back to full health.
I'm not cracking, Neal. I'm not gonna eat demon flesh. And would you really kill a character by making them starve to death? How anticlimactic of an ending would that be? That's like the lamest Dungeons and Dragons game I've ever heard of.
He definitely would, right? Come on.
But also, like, I need to, at some point in time, enforce upon my players the notion that if you do not take care of yourself, you will die. Like,
also, Hawk, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm excited for all 312 seasons of the Wheel of Time TV show.
Is there going to be a TV show?
Yeah, Amazon's making it.
Oh,
God.
There's supposed to be a Name of the Wind TV show at some point, isn't there? Has anyone heard of that?
I haven't heard of it.
At some point, though, I need to enforce upon my players as like a concept that you can't just go without food and water. That it needs to be done. So if you guys have to be the sacrifice,
that with we spent so long keeping track of our rations to the point where you were like, okay, we're going to take all of your rations away and not give you that option, and you're going to starve to death whether you're prepared or not.
But if I kill off our most like popular group of players at this point in time, now that Hardcore Heroes is over, that sorry, if I'm willing to kill you guys off by having you starve to death, it'll just further underscore the need that other people have for supplies. When other players are like, oh, the DM wouldn't kill us for this, then someone will be like, actually, his most popular show ended by starvation because they didn't have any food. And that might be a good precedent to set for like the future of campaigning.
You see, I'm
You
on the
might
other
have to
side.
be
I
my
think that you actually
sacrifice.
might want to do that. Like, I actually think that that's something you're actively quite happy about.
Killing you by starvation?
For the reasons that you've just explained. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not. I fully expect him to do it right. But I don't think food is our worry, right? Not in the short term.
Water's
We can
the
go
worry
without
in the
food.
short term, right?
Yeah.
I guess water.
I believe there was water in the Shadow Realm because we weren't dying of thirst. We had water.
Yeah, we can drink the water, I think.
In that case, well, my concern is that he's going to screw us over on the healing. I guess we could try going back to the demon realm and healing up there.
That's an option, but then I think that's too dangerous probably. Unless
if
we hold the
portals,
portal,
can they also close them? Could they guillotine you going through the other way?
I don't think so. Oh, I guess they could have like a beholder with an anti-magic ray or something to open and close the portal.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. Actually, they could do that.
Was
By
that
the way,
making lots of water?
that's
I don't.
some fucking bullshit. That is.
They're saying Van was using produced water,
But I didn't. Was that where we were getting our water from? I actually don't remember anymore. I
you
didn't
were
have
high enough
spells.
level to have create food.
No, I had create water, but I wasn't able to get spells for a good chunk of our time in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, it wasn't. You were able to drink the water, I think, because you were able to eat like some plants that you found that just didn't provide any nutrients, right?
Yeah, and there was water, so it was probably distilled or something, I guess, and that it was dead water.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were rivers, so I think you'll find. I guess you're in heat stroke, so you might be fucked. But
Oh shit!
I think we're in the.
God,
I think we're in the temple. We're in the pyramid.
Up until
the viewer's running theory.
well, I just don't know if there's any natural bodies of water around you.
There used to be a river that ran alongside Heatstroke until a cleric dammed it.
Yeah, but not in the Shadow Realm.
I guess.
the Shadow
Yeah. How
Realm?
do those reflections work?
You can eat demons, but then you become demons. I think Grimes
Maybe.
would starve to death before eating demons. We may
Probably,
see.
yeah.
We may look into the mechanics of auto cannibalism.
Back to Snowpiercer again, I see.
Yeah.
Oh. There's a really good Stephen King short story about this guy who's he's smuggling heroin into the US and he gets shipwrecked on an island, and he tries to catch a seagull and fucks his leg up, so he can't move anymore. So he ends up having to amputate his foot. So he starts taking the heroin to to numb the pain because he's a doctor, and he amputates his foot. But he's got no food, so he eats the foot. But then he's addicted to heroin now, so he can't go and catch any more food, and he just slowly cuts off more and more of his body until he dies.
Wow. Is this based on
eat.
personal experience?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Although he's got all of his legs, so I guess not.
No. The drug addiction.
Oh right. Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder when he wrote that.
So I wonder what we're going to do. I think you gotta hold the portal closed until we're ready to make a dash for it, and then we run. And I mean, maybe if we close the portal for long enough, the demons will just think it's destroyed and leave, and then we can maybe pop back through and.
Yeah, I feel
about the
like
ones that
eventually we're gonna have to close these portals for good.
Yeah, we should do really. If we,
I guess maybe we don't need to go back and close all of them, but this last, the portals to the Prime Material Realm, I feel like we're gonna get roped back into having to finish the job.
Yeah.
What about the monsters that might already exist in the plane that you're on now? The ones that you
Just
sort
not
of
Shadow
worried
plane?
about it. Yeah.
I'm only worried about it because we've got 10 HP between us.
Yeah. If we can get
They're a
to
little
full
bit
health, I
easier.
don't think there's anything.
But
that can
these,
stop us.
they're not a huge threat to our characters at full strength. I think the issue is that we're so drained of resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we can get back to full health and find food, then I think we're good.
I think this is now going to be a game of attrition and trying to while starving to death, and how much time can we manage to waste healing up? Maybe a couple days, and then have to go through this pyramid at 3 HP.
But even if we get out of Heatstroke, the closest portal that I know about, the one that we took in Hardcore Heroes, is in the Draken Ridge, which is if we have to walk there, that's probably.
Is there not a pyramid? Is there not a portal in? No, I guess we took Van Helsing from Heatstroke to.
Yeah, to that portal, yeah.
Yeah.
And even if the only other one that potentially exists is where the Shadow Dragon is, so even if we could fight the Shadow Dragon, which is maybe possible, it's still fucking far away.
Yeah.
But we do have the snake tongue to find. So if there is a closer portal, maybe.
Yeah, we can see.
that next
So I
to
think the
the
plan
portal?
is to get William to 1 HP so he can hold onto the portal and keep it dispelled.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
we
Grimes
go
goes
search.
looking for supplies.
Yeah, and then if there's nothing, then I guess we just make a run for it.
Yeah.
Would
Someone
Neal put
suggest-
us in an unwinnable situation, do you think?
I think he's
I
been
thought
putting
he
us in unwinnable situations for this entire campaign.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I hope you guys have been enjoying it and it hasn't just been a brutal, painful, why am I doing this every month?
It's pretty painful, I'm not gonna lie. It will be enjoyable if we get out of this in the end, and like...
Yeah, it's been alright for me, but I felt it for you, right?
Yeah.
Considering that Grimes has not been able to do too much.
And Neal wasn't particularly... He didn't really give me any lifelines.
No, it was more of like, how do you solve this? Oh shit, you're just kind of fucked.
We did get... I mean, we're out of that plane, so whatever. I did find a high-level proficiency. It was basically what I was trying to do with blind fighting, called like adaptation or something, a high-level rogue proficiency that ameliorates penalties from unfamiliar environments. Which is kind of what I was angling for, but you never really gave me anything there.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have been a good way to balance it, was to like have William have more penalties due to the
Yeah, that would have been quite cool,
and,
actually.
like, let me use my proficiency slots to negate some of my penalties.
That would have been quite cool, actually.
We're out of there, so
Yeah, hindsight. That's funny.
So, last ditch attempt, which is kind of metagaming because we don't really know what it is, but that staff, if we break the staff, it's got a 50% chance of killing us, but also a 50% chance of teleporting us to a random plane. So, you know, if we are about to die, we could
Which
just break the
is
staff
this?
and fucking...
Staff of
we
Mason?
don't know. The Staff of Power.
Yeah, the staff of power, yeah.
Do you
So,
want to
know,
be
that's-
50% chance of teleported to a random plane?
I mean, no, not really, but you know, if it's...
But,
if
like,
it's
what's the
truly,
chance
like-
if you
It's
end up in
that
the
or
right
starved to
spot?
death.
Yeah,
And I
so
don't
it's
think
gotta
there's
be,
any
like-
way to rationalize our character.
I mean, you guys could wind up on the Arcadian plane, which is apparently just like heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Take up position as God of War, kill Bellum. Where have you been, motherfucker? Where did you go? Was it ever really Bellum, or was it the Winter Gods? I asked.
Winter God's
Yes.
confirmed now, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's more or less confirmed. It's like 97% confirmed.
Yeah.
Just because Mouse
Is Neal still taking the
Winter
B2?
Gods?
There is no B2 bomber approach.
He is, yeah. But because he's gonna have to answer this in the Hardcore Heroes recap, right? Remember when? Where was it? It was
Doesn't
where
have to
we
answer anything.
is that temple where we sold the halfling's feet to those mercenaries, and we went back there later and fought a bunch of skeletons in the bottom of it. Do you remember, Sean? When the dogs killed those
Yeah.
bandits that attacked Jeeves, yeah. You
Yeah.
found in the bottom of that a holy symbol that you didn't recognize. So that's the question I'm looking forward to getting the answer to, because what was that?
I don't think Neal even remembers this.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'll send you a link. Send you the link to the video. It's like you find a holy symbol that you don't recognize. Now, Van's a cleric, so he would have recognized it if it was any of the actual gods, right?
Does he have a religion proficiency? I guess you didn't really have proficiencies.
Yeah, and like as a cleric, you would recognize, because the temples kind of belong to all the gods. So if you run a temple like Van did, you would recognize all the basic symbols of the god.
So what's that about, Neal?
Could
I mean,
be an ancient symbol.
It could have just
or-
been like a weird sex cult. That's totally possible.
Yep.
Don't give him answers. Okay.
How are you doing with your royal family abandoning you, Nick?
What do you mean? You mean
Didn't the
Prince
the
Harry?
prince? Yeah, didn't he fuck off to Canada? Didn't he basically
Yeah.
piece out of the royal family?
good on him, I say. He's not taking any money anymore, so.
Really? So he's like totally. He's just now a private individual citizen.
Yeah. They're making him pay for his own security, which apparently is like a big hoo-ha. Like, why wouldn't he pay for his own security? I don't give a fuck. I actually just have got no sympathy for them whatsoever. Everyone's like, oh, it's such a hard life. But is it though? Because they can literally just walk away anytime they want to become like anyone else.
Yeah.
So how is it a hard life? No, it's not a hard life. Because even
Sounds
the
like
key,
it's like the most privileged life you could be born into.
Literally the most privileged life. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Oh my god, the queen works so hard.
It's so
Does she?
hard.
Bollocks.
Like, I mean, I would say there's probably downsides to it in that I think being rich is fundamentally bad for you. Like it is unhealthy for you and will turn you into a shitty person.
I feel like being poor has been pretty unhealthy for me.
Oh yeah, no, like that's physically unhealthy. I guess what I'm getting at is like I would understand it in the context of like being both rich and a public figure does the kind of psychological harm that will turn you into a bad person. But I still have a lot more sympathy for the poor.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I've got no sympathy for them whatsoever. Fuck him. Like, honestly, like, I just don't understand. Like,
Isn't that treasonous?
Probably, but let the queen...
off.
I'm saying let the queen run it out. She deserves this. Like, let her be queen until she dies. And then just, you know, say, that's enough of that now. Like, let's...
Be a democracy over here.
Yeah, let's just be a republic.
Nick is French anyways.
It's in my blood. Cut off their heads!
Have you been watching The Crown at all?
No, I ain't got around to it. But everyone's watched it. It's like, oh my god, the queen, she's so hardworking and she's had such a hard life. You should watch The Crown, Nick. You don't know what he's talking about. It's like, fuck
Doesn't
off.
make it look like a hard life. Are you kidding? It's
Oh,
like,
really?
okay,
That's what I'm told.
I have to go on a world tour, but my husband's a philanderer and we don't get along while we sail around the world talking to people. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But I wouldn't say it makes it look like the queen works hard.
Well, there you go. People genuinely think that, though. Like, the prevailing view over here is that the queen is, you know, works hard and
She has a difficult position. I would grant that. It must be a very difficult thing to do to be the queen. Even because a lot of the time, because a lot of the time your job is not doing anything at all when people want you to do something. You know, and it can be a difficult thing when you have all the power or you have a lot of power and you have to sit by and just smile and wave and not intervene. That can be a difficult thing to do. I can imagine.
Yeah,
but it's certainly no like.
I'm having a very hard time thinking of a
nurse.
response to this beyond boo fucking who.
Yeah, right. The BBC did a little mini TV series a few years back where the Queen dies and Prince Charles becomes king, and then the first like bill that he has to sign, because like the monarch still has to like sign off on all laws passed by Parliament, right? So they get passed by Parliament, and then they get royal assent. It's called. The first bill is like something to do with like limiting press freedoms, and because he's just become king, he's like, fuck off, I'm not signing it, basically. And then Parliament are like, okay, well, we're going to change the law to say that we don't need royal assent anymore, essentially, like, you know, eliminating the monarch's power. And he just goes in and just fucking shuts Parliament down, like, under some, like, precedent from, like, the 1500s or something like that. That was pretty funny. See how that played out. Because, you know, the Queen's got all this power, like you said, like, you know, when Boris Johnson tried to shut down Parliament before the election, she could have done something then, but she didn't. So what's the point? Because if you hear this argument, it's like, oh, it's a check on like, you know, fascism or something like that. If it were to ever come into existence in the UK, the monarch could stop it, but they
That's
wouldn't.
what they used to say about the Electoral College. It's a check on people doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Look where we are now.
What happens when the parties in the Electoral College do stupid things?
Right.
What's the point of the what?
The League of Nations.
Oh.
The League of Nations.
Well,
Does
not
not
poorly
exist anymore.
devised plan.
Yeah,
Precursor to
that
the
was-
UN, isn't it?
Yeah, wasn't that the goal of it though?
Yeah, but I think I can't remember what was the major downfall of the League of Nations. There was some like critical problem with it.
That
let's just
international politics is entirely theater and doesn't actually do anything.
Ah.
Except for
think
that
it-
one time
power
where we,
enforcement.
after World War II, when we did the Nuremberg trials, that was pretty cool. But then we never did that again.
Right, you mean where they tried like 20 Nazis and pretended
Yeah,
like
like even that wasn't as good as it probably should have been because they let a lot of them off the hook. But like,
Yeah.
we set some really big precedents there because they technically didn't break any laws, and we had.
Here we are talking about Nazis again.
Oh yeah, never mind. Let me get away from this.
Fuck Fuck Nazis. End of conversation.
Well, why don't we kill it here then?
Yeah. No, yeah, before we get talking about Nazis, we need to go and eat something anyway.
I'm sorry.
Greg,
Godwin's Law,
miss
man.
you.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Greg?
So,
Where is Greg?
it's Hobo next week, right?
I think that's what the schedule says.
Yeah,
Right,
and then
that's
we
what
do
talked
the.
about.
Yes.
It's when
Onwards.
the 19th is when we do the Hardcore Heroes Q&A.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sweet. So it's the next 2 weeks. All right, cool.
Oh, it's Easter Sunday next Sunday. Does anyone have any big Easter plans?
We're opening up the whole country, right?
Right,
Yeah.
for the
What
economy.
church is packed? Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of elderly people would be happy to die for Easter. You know,
Yep.
Jesus died for Easter, and
Did
so
you see
we
that
should
politician
too.
who was like, I'd be happy to die to save the U.S. economy. Like,
Oh yeah, that's Jesse. We desperately need another World War Kelly. He's
No,
one of
he's
those
not said
special
that,
kind of
has he?
psychopaths.
Did he say we need another world war?
Yeah, because modern kids are too soft.
wow. Imagine being that fucking crazy.
Yeah, Jesse Kelly really disturbs me.
Is he an elected official?
Oh god, I don't
He
even
outright
remember.
called for another world war on Twitter, and then Twitter removed his account.
Yep.
He's elected. Wow.
See,
Makes
I
you think,
don't-
hey,
No,
sometimes
no,
all
no,
of a
no,
sudden-
no. He's
He's
just
not
he's
taking
just
notes,
a
but
he's just a
it's not.
host of a radio show.
Oh, okay.
Thank God. Okay, I was a little scared for a second there.
Yeah,
Do you
because I
think
was going
that
to say.
these people that say ridiculous shit like this, do you think they actually believe it?
I
Or do
think
you
Jesse
think
Kelly
they-
believes it.
No.
I think Jesse Kelly
Like-
would like Jesse Kelly scares me because. Nope, I can't say it. I'll go into Nazis again.
I mean,
Jesse Kelly
I think a
scares
lot
me
of
because
these
he's one of
are.
those people who would actually back up his words with action. I that's why he scares me so much. I think he's one of those people who would actually follow through on.
I think a lot of it's not very well thought out ideas that are kind of like off the cuff, and people tend to like double down on shit they've said and try to
Yeah.
justify it even if they haven't really thought it through or it doesn't make sense. But there is a lot of showmanship, and I think you make like with Trump, it sounded like you make the mistake of taking a lot of what he says at face value or literally, when it's kind of just for show or for effect or yeah.
I mean, I think Trump shotguns a billion ideas, and that whatever sticks is what he follows. You know, whatever seems like it'll work for him is what he will then move forward on. Which is why I think it's dangerous when he starts saying really crazy shit, because if other people back it up, then that will become what he follows.
I don't think he even goes that far. I think he just does whatever the person who talked to him last suggests he does, and then whenever something good happens, he takes credit for it. Whenever something bad happens, he blames Democrats.
And yeah, that's the big. Like, I don't think he's really putting a lot of stock in ideas or even the literal words that he's saying. It's like it's a show. It's like
It's all a show, yeah.
right. He's cultivating an image, and I don't know. It doesn't matter so much what he says, but more how he says it and how he comes off. And
Yeah, but like
Let's-
with people like
let's get
Alex
away from this.
Jones,
Let's get
for
away from this.
example,
all right, I think we're
does he
we're getting
actually
into
believe this
starting-
shit? Okay, all right.
All right.
What?
I was gonna say, like, people like Alex Jones, does he actually believe his nonsense?
Ah, wait, you guys got to
Jones?
watch the clip of
Oh.
Alex Jones on the BBC. It was great.
He was on the
He's-
BBC.
let me
They
interview
interviewed
him.
him.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's an
I don't
interesting
think
mix.
Jones really.
I mean, he's literally an entertainer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is for, and some of it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, no. And I think
he's-
one of the big things that started Alex Jones was that he was really funny to listen to for a very long time. And he didn't even going into the early 2000s, he wasn't that partisan in a lot of ways. It wasn't really until like the Obama era that he started going a lot harder, right?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's kind of, it feels like, to me watching it, it feels like a satire of itself.
Yeah.
Or of that type of person, like all the lizard people shit and it's I don't know. It's like
it was-
satire of a conspiracy theory, of a right-wing conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, and then
And I think he just
a lot
took
of
it a
people
little too
listened to him because
far.
they-
And
yeah, a lot of people listen to him because they found him funny, and then you signal boost it, and then people who are actually like vulnerable to those sorts of ideas get drawn into the sphere too. And it's,
the gay frogs and
the crisis actors at Sandy Hook, like
I think that's where he went. That was one of the incidents where he went too far, and he got sued, and he lost. Oh,
he's been sued. Yeah, and
now he's like
he's bogged down in lawsuits.
Driving drunk and marriage falling apart and losing his kids. I mean, it went too far, and he's clearly getting his comeuppance.
I will point out that when he was going through legal proceedings with his ex-wife, I believe for custody of their kids, one of the arguments that his lawyer made in court was that it was all an act. So we do, if you take that as you will, interpret that as you will.
I feel like lawyers will say whatever the fuck they want to say in court to make a point, and that has no bearing on reality.
The idea is lying there very cognizant that it could all just be an act that he's putting on because he's a narcissist. He wants the attention and the money.
But how could you? I don't know how you could put on something like this, knowing that certain people will believe you, and that what you're doing is actually causing problems in the world, and then just keep doing it. You
can find a way to rationalize it. But,
narcissism.
He's lacking that certain moral backbone that. You think all these years of D&D playing, you'd be able to empathize with villains a little better.
Maybe. I just... You have to be a bad person, and I guess my world's philosophy is that, people aren't really bad, they're just in awkward situations and maybe slip one way or the other, and that morality is relative, and I find it hard to believe that people...
You don't seem to be acting like that. You seem like you're decrying this behavior as objectively evil, and like, how could a person be doing this? That sounds like the opposite of moral relativism.
Well, no. I think that from where I'm standing, that is morally reprehensible. And I just don't acknowledge that there might be another perspective that I might not hold, and that there's not always going to be black and whites, and that something might be black to me and white to you, and yada yada. But from my standpoint, it's terrible, and I don't know how anyone could ever believe this stuff. It's crazy. I don't know. Maybe we should end it.
Yeah, this is...
All right.
Alex Jones is just left of not.
Why do we do this whenever Greg isn't here?
Because Greg is the hero that we need,
Because he has interesting concepts about D&D to talk about.
True.
We barely talked about D&D today.
Yeah, I know.
Because we don't have interesting concepts about D&D to talk about.
Because Greg is just a smarter, better, more sociable person than we are, right?
That is very possible. I'm not better or smarter or sociable, so...
Yeah. Nick is sort of sociable. You could be saving us, Nick, but you're not.
I like talking about politics, though, so...
So Nick's not sociable either. Nick. There's something fundamentally wrong with Nick, so we can count him out.
Well, he's half French, so...
Yeah, that's right. I'm here to ruin your show, Neal, because you killed my character, so I'm doing my best to tank it.
And it turns out the best way to ruin the show is to not interfere at all.
Just like the Queen, Nick. Just like the Queen.
Just like the Queen, yeah, that's right. Got more in common with her than I like to think.
Sitting around in your house all day, doing fuck all, playing 10 hours of board games.
Oh, mate, don't, honestly. Have you got Tabletop Simulator?
I mean, it could be acquired.
Please,
I'd recommend it once. I mean, I don't know about this Imperium thing. It sounds like it takes a long time, but Tabletop Simulator is really cool. You can play most tabletop games.
Come on, Sean,
Dungeons
please.
And Dragons?
You can do, yeah.
There are a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons setups for it. I don't know why you would do it.
I don't know why you do either,
but you could. I do actually kind of want to run a D&D game in Tabletop Simulator just for the sheer meme of it. Just to say that I did it. Just so I could like put it on my resume. Once ran a Dungeons and Dragons session in Tabletop Simulator. Made it 4 hours.
The resumes after this whole thing are going to be weird. Everyone's going to have like a 3 to 6 month gap in resumes across the board.
Oh my god! When I applied for my current job, they had like, we need a 7-year uninterrupted period of work, and we noticed there's a 7-year period of non-work on your part. Could you explain this? And I was like, I was in high school, and then I was in college.
Big brain.
And they hired you anyway.
And then they hired me.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. Well,
All right.
Let's head out. Good luck,
Good chat
everybody.
with you.
Surviving the pandemic.
Yep.
We will
Stay
be back
safe.
April.
Continue to
May?
exile yourselves for the good of the realm.
Yeah, we'll come back in
you're
May.
all brave heroes sitting at home and Twitch,
Yeah.
saving the world.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as you guys don't have anything to do, you should go like and subscribe to all of my shit everywhere. Because it's dumb, and I don't want to talk about it, but you're literally not doing anything else right now, so you can just like cycle through all the Dicing with Death videos and just thumbs up them all.
Yeah. And if you can, maybe donate to some local charities, because people need the help, and our government sure as hell ain't doing it. So
Yeah.
do something if you can, please. That'd be good.
Well played, Sean. I like that.
Yeah, well done, Sean.
Subscribe to Neal, everybody. All right, let's go.
And subscribe. Do something if you can. Subscribe to Neal Erickson.
Yeah, he's a major charity case. He needs all of our help and support.
He does.
I got.
Mumble, mumble.
Mumble. That's all I got for you guys. Okay. Well, let's
All
go.
right.
Let's get out of
Yep.
here. Let's end this nightmare.
All right.